Okay, the DU1 app has updated, which means DSx2 has updated as well for the stable version of the app at least. In the previous stable version, we had DSx2, the version 2 series, and we're now up to the version 3 series. So I'm going to go through and explain the difference between those versions and show you what's new. In the version 3 series, I introduced a new theme called Cafe Theme. This is what Cafe Theme looks like, the homepage. The first thing you might notice is the heading's a little bit different, the heading bar. So it's a different design. The power button is moved over here instead of up in the corner here. And up in the corner here we now have history, which you can tap to open the DSx2 history viewer. So the history viewer is the same. You can scroll through your history there, tap the left side or right side to load the graph to the left here or to the right. You can tap that graph to do an overlay and so forth. So I've been through that before. I won't go through that here. The power button is different. The power button now has long press, so when you tap it normally, a short press, it will go to the screensaver straight away. And instead of having that intermittent screen, we now have long press, which will exit the app. The layout's a little bit different. The graph is in the same place, but the favourites are now along the top instead of down the side, and the information we had along the top is now where the favourites used to be. So I'll come back to that in more detail when I explain how to set up the workflow and save a favourite. First, what we'll do is go into the skin settings. So like the original theme, you tap on the heading bar to open the skin settings, and in here we have a couple more options now. We have what we call passcode, and you can also set the number of favourites. So it's currently set to 1. I've only got one favourite button showing. The inspiration for this theme came from somebody who was using DSx2 in a cafe, and they had 2 requests. One of them was to have option for a lot more favourites, whereas the original theme only allows 5. We can now have as many as you like. And they also wanted to prevent staff from accessing areas where they could change settings. So that's what the cafe theme now does. We have passcode here. So if I tap on passcode, it's off by default. If you want to turn it on, you would toggle that switch on. This is your passcode password. The default is 123, so you can change that to something else if you like. And the other option we have is auto lock. So auto lock is a timer that activates passcode once that time has elapsed. So if you unlock passcode, after 5 seconds you'll have to enter the passcode again to unlock it. So I'll give you a quick demonstration of how that works. Now that I've got that turned on, if I tap on the heading here, it's going to ask me for a passcode. If I put it in wrong, it's just going to disappear. And the same if you go to the app settings, it's going to ask you for a passcode. So if I go in there, put in 123 passcode, we can now access the normal settings. If I go back in there within that 5-second period, I can go back in without entering a passcode. But once that 5 seconds is elapsed, it's going to ask me for a passcode again. I have to put in that passcode, go in there. So I'll go in and turn that off. Okay, so that's what passcode is. We also have a button showing down here. Now this button will only show if you have a decent scale connected. For other brand scales, this button won't show. And what it is, if you tap on that button, it'll just give you, well, there's currently only 2 options. The first option is to have the LCD display on the scale itself bright or less bright. There's 2 brightness settings. And it'll also allow you to show the timer or not show the timer. Okay, so we can exit out of there. or this option here, you can set multiple favorites. So you can just increase by one favorite at a time until you get to 10, and then it'll increment 5 at a time. Once you get past 10, you'll notice there's 2 arrows will show on the right of the favorite menu. You use those to scroll between an array of favorites. So here we're showing from 1 to 10. Scroll down to show 6 to 15, 11 to 20, and so on. Okay, so I'll go back to, I'll just set 3 to demonstrate how to save a favorite. Before I go and demonstrate that, I'll just explain these here. So this is the same as the original theme. You can toggle through different heading styles. So if I didn't want a heading at all, I would delete the name and toggle through so the heading looks like that. The heading still has to be there because that's the only way to access the DSx2 settings. So it'll just show us the 3 dots. Okay, so I'll toggle back to the normal heading. Give it a name. Okay, so this option here is grayed out because that's not relevant for here. Our history button is now permanently showing up here. Color theme, there is a new color theme which is called Cafe Dark, which is the color theme I'm showing for Cafe Dark. The icon calibration is the same, calibration. This button has changed, so since version 2 of DSx2, I created a new app extension called Graphical Flow Calibrator. So that button takes you directly to that plugin now instead of using the flow calibrator that I had built into DSx2 before. This calibrator is available to all skins, and I'm pretty sure John's Slimline skin has a direct button to here as well. But if you're using a different skin, you can access it from here, the GFC button here. DSx2 just has a direct link here. And then you've got this button here to switch between the original theme or the cafe theme. The app will exit and you'll need to restart whenever you change theme, so I won't change that now because I want to go through and show the cafe theme. One of the differences with the graph is there's now 3 views. By tapping on the graph itself, it will toggle between the 3 views. It's only toggling between 2 views at the moment because DIY extension is not enabled. So if DIY was enabled, it would toggle through a view where you would have your previous and next shots here for the DIY, and you'd be able to toggle through those 3. I just want to explain this case graph. I don't think I explained this in a previous video. Or with advanced profiles, you can set different beverage type for the advanced profile. So I'll just go into an advanced profile and explain it. In here with the advanced profile setting, if you tap on here, it'll open an option to set that profile to have a different beverage type. Profiles that have a beverage type set to calibration or cleaning, they don't upload to Visualizer, but DSx2 also uses that setting. And the way DSx2 uses that setting is if you run a profile that's set to cleaning or calibration, it won't propagate through these case graphs. It'll still save to your history files, but it won't move this graph along through this system. Go through and set up favorites, because that's something that's quite a bit different. To set up a favorite, the first thing you want to do is set up all your workflow settings. To access that workflow settings now, you tap over here, we'll open that workflow page, and this is the workflow setup page. So instead of having all separate menus, it's all on one page now. Just be aware, for people that are using machines without a group head controller, these buttons will be multifunction. They'll be a short press will start those functions, and long press will open the workflow setup. Okay, so let's go set up our environment or our workflow to save to our first favorite. the first button I'm going to set up as a milk drink. So I can tap here to go straight to the profile menu, or I can go around the usual way. So I tap there. I'm going to use my DSx2v3 profile, so I select that. Go back into the menu. It's showing that I've got bean weight set to 18 grams, stopper weight. Stopper weight I can change here. This is actually a profile setting, and it's the only profile setting that you can adjust outside of the profile editor. There is an information icon here, so you can tap on that and that'll give you an explanation there. Same with steam by weight. I won't go into how to set that up here because I've done that before, but there's an information icon there to explain that. Down the bottom here we have workflow type, so this is going to be a milk drink. Or milk. There's only one option for milk drinks, it's called latte. So if you're making a flat white or whatever, it's the same menu, same order, and that's what's important here, the workflow order. So I've set that. Flush time 3 seconds is fine. I like to flush at 8 mils per second. I want steam on, so you can toggle steam off and on here. You can see when that's off, it says off. Burn a milk drink, obviously we want steam on. I always set my steam by weighing the milk and pressing the button to set the time. DSx calculates the steam time, and that's all due to this setup here. So I've got that set up. I can toggle different milk jugs and save a different milk jug for the per favourite. In this case I'm going to use a medium sized milk jug. And I could set up water settings, but I'm not going to use water for a milk drink, so I won't change anything there. Now, exit. Now I've got everything set up. I'm ready to save my favourite. So to save a favourite in the cafe theme, we long press on the favourite button. That opens up the favourite options here, so I can give that favourite button a name if I like. Or I could press this button here and that will set the button label to the same name as the profile title. I've got an auto load option here, the same as in the original theme, that if this favourite is set to the auto load, whenever the app starts or wakes up from sleep, it will load that favourite. So now I have the option to either cancel that or I can save. So in this case I want to save. And we saved our first favourite. So I'll go in quickly, I'll select a different profile. I'll set up different workflow. I'm just going to set that longer so that you can see it's different. I'll set the steam heater off, and we don't use any of these settings, so I won't change that. Okay, that's set up. I'm going to long press on there. I'm going to call it espresso still. I don't want to auto load, I want this one to remain as the auto load. So we go save. Okay, so now we've set up 2 different favourites, and you can see when I select this favourite, all this menu changes. So our flush time 3 seconds, our profile names here, there's our information, our bean weight and our stop at weight setting. So if I switch, you can see all that information has changed. Our flush time has changed. Down the bottom here, it's saying auto load isn't set. So what I need to do is load that favourite again. Long tap on there, set that and go save. So now it says auto load is set to the first favourite button, to number 1. So it doesn't matter which favourite I've got loaded. It lets you know which one is set to the auto load. Okay, let's set up another button here. So I'm going to set this one up as clean because clean works a bit different. So I'll go into here, select the cleaning profile. With the cleaning profile, you can see this workflow menu has changed. It doesn't show anything other than just the espresso button. And the same if I go in here, we can't toggle between different workflow types because it's a cleaning profile, so cleaning profile doesn't need to use flush or water or steam. Those options are disabled. So if I long press on the third favourite button, I'll give it a name, clean, and save. Now I will have to go set up that favourite again, so I'll tap on there to load it, long tap and save. Okay, so we've set up 3 profiles now, or 3 favourites now, with different profiles, different settings. The first one is for a milk drink, so that will turn the steam timer on, and we can check that here, the switch is on. This one turns the steam heater off, see that here, and only loads the 2 functions, and we now have this clean one as well. So you can load as many as you like. I've just given a demonstration for 3 there. I'll use 1, so you can use 1, and I've got that set to auto load. Okay, so that's pretty much it. I think it's covered everything that's changed.